Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Sejuani game. Let's get the show on the road. First one. And this is a game a lot of people have been requesting because I just don't play meta junglers all that much. Let's do it. It's not that, I'm afraid of playing the meta junglers or that kind of stuff. It's that just kind of having them pushed on you constantly gets pretty boring. And Sejuani is already like mid-tier in terms of fun for me, so it's like I'm not really looking forward to playing her. I mean, sometimes she's kind of fun, and she's definitely useful even when she's not totally meta because her ultimate is really strong, and she's kind of, an AP champion that you can sort of pick. But, Anyways, the early game starts off very interesting because the enemy Maokai goes for a level 2 gank, and it doesn't work out for him, so I'm able to easily go to his jungle and take it. Now, I didn't show it in this game, but the Maokai tried ganking while my teammates were like around, very close to their own tower. So that was just really bad. Either way, I'm able to control the top lane portion of the jungle, top portion of the jungle rather easily, and this is actually really important. I get my red, and instead of going to the Krugs, I notice or I figure that Maokai's going to try to gank the Yasuo, so I go to meet him. I'm not going to try to kill him or do some grandiose counter gank unless they sort of all in or a little too much. It's just there to sort of shove him off, make him think twice. I'm not going to fight him, I'm just going to, scare him off. Because I wasn't intending this to be sort of like a controlling match in the beginning. It just happened to turn into that. It also helps that the enemy Syndra burned all her summoner spells, so I'm able to sort of just kill her right now. And thanks to her dying rather easily, I'm able to steal Maokai's chicken buff, chicken camp. I end up just only taking the big one right now, because he ends up showing up and scaring me off. But, it's kind of important right now to keep Maokai under control. Because Maokai, I'm not sure if he intended it to be. Maokai against a Wukong and Yasuo is a pretty good choice because they're very aggressive champions and, he just grabbed them with his W. Anyways, he ends up stealing my blue here. I'm completely surprised that he even snuck in there. Like, either I wasn't paying too much attention or just, he was trying very hard for that. But it slowed him down quite a bit. And, he's going to go take his red and just kind of, hover around for a little bit. He ends up going down bottom lane and getting himself killed because, once again, he really, really overcommits. He overestimates his damage or, well, basically anything. I didn't catch it again in footage, but I did see it in game. Essentially, he had no minions and he overcommitted to the without having his teammates being there to put damage. So he took a lot of free damage himself and got killed. I could almost do like a whole analysis about those two early ganks, how bad they were. Either way, you saw my ultimate became active as Sejuani and easily take out Cho'Gath because of all the wealth of crowd control me and the Yasuo ended up putting onto him. And I'm able to steal his blue once again. So yeah, Maokai is pretty much kept in check. And the level disparity between me and him, plus the gold disparity, is going to get ridiculously massive. You're going to see the big difference between, the amount of crap a jungler or a tank jungler can do. With a huge gold disparity. A lot of people do talk about, the catch-up experience and all that kind of stuff, but to be honest, gold is pretty damn important. For jungle tanks, it's not the most important thing in the world, but when you can buy a huge item like a Warmog's armor or like a Righteous Glory very early, you can see the effect. Anyways, like I said, I'm putting on the pressure against the Maokai, constantly stealing his camps just to make sure he's going to be under-leveled. So, because if he's super fragile, it doesn't matter what initiation he has, he's going to get picked off. Also, this Wukong, he's just kind of been a weird travesty in the game because he's been really yelling at people and at me and bottom lane and everybody. But you guys can see his play. Shame on you. Anyways, Twitch gets too close for some dumb reason and ends up dying. But the enemy Maokai and the Syndra show up, and the Syndra is actually going to be able to pick up a triple kill from this because we're very low. We kind of already burned everything we had. And this honestly does help the Maokai quite a bit. But look at the farm difference between me and him. And the kill difference too. 3 assists is okay for a jungle tank early on. But the gold difference is pretty big. I have a Kindle Gem Boots, Cinderhawk, that kind of stuff. He's got a Cinderhawk. And that's kind of just about it. He's pretty behind. And it also really helps that the Syndra is a little too aggressive against the Wukong, the Wukong has admittedly been playing really poorly against her, but it's made the Syndra, a little too overconfident. I was trying to remember that Darkest Dungeon line. Overconfidence something, but some of you will probably remember it in the comments below. Anyways, to catch the Cho'Gath, and this is what I mean. The enemy of Maokai, it just can't really do much anymore. He's just kind of been sidelined. Like, the amount of pressure put onto him early and his failures just kind of snowballed out of control, and essentially we're able to push him out. If I was the Maokai in this situation, or at least, you know, after when my level 2 gank failed, I wouldn't be trying to be very brave or forceful. I would have focused on mid and top lane. Trying to gank bottom lane, especially when they have like a bard and they're going to generally be playing a little bit safe, is just kind of, you know, pointless. Or at least, yeah, well, it's mostly pointless, and it's taking, you know, a big risk for potentially no reward. Yasuo is like the biggest kind of gank bait. He's always going to be aggressive, and someone with Maokai can guarantee his death alongside Cho'Gath. So he just kind of picked the wrong targets. In the meantime, I've been picking the most aggressive target, aka Syndra. It just has been feeding off her carcass. It's just, I want to use this sort of video for the big difference between this. You know, he had a big chance in a super aggressive Yasuo and he never took it. I had a big chance against a very aggressive Syndra and I took it, and I was rewarded for that. It's really easy for any kind of a big initiator jungler just to be able to do that. Anyways, here you can see the goal disparity between me and Maokai, at least for a little while, because, you know, I just kind of clicked it off real quickly. It's pretty bad. And like I said, I am just feeding off this Syndra, who essentially, you know, devoured my Wukong teammate alive and kept being superly aggro and burning everything on him. At this point, she was raging in all chat saying, just stop using your ultimate on me. Also, this Maokai, don't ever really do this. Just because, you know, you're fat doesn't mean that, you know, you're going to survive the onslaught here. I mean, we kind of get punished for it because it's surprise the enemy twitches here. Surprise, I'm here. He shoots us down and then Blitzcrank pulls me in. So it kind of turns into a benefit for them. But, you know, the ideal was there. The Maokai just kind of made food bait. Wukong goes into the Twitch, and he's quickly reminded of the fact that all-in champions who are really behind really don't do anything. So this game, you know, surprisingly is rather even, and in some ways there's like a positive and good stuff. I mean, positive, negative stuff. I have 5 kills. On a Sejuani, it's not the worst thing because she's like a battle tank in a sense. You can go in there, and the longer you stay in a fight, the more damage, the more crowd control, the more of a nuisance you are. She's not a one-and-done kind of jungler tank, and that's kind of what's making her really strong right now, especially with Warmark's armor, is that if she sticks around way too long, you know, she becomes super threatening. I mean, I talked about that in the Trundle video the other day, where I used Trundle to knock her out so she wouldn't get to do that because I can recognize how threatening that is. But you can see throughout this entire game that if they leave me alone, if they don't control me, I can run in there, CC someone, take so much damage, and constantly slow them, constantly just lock them down. She's really frustrating because she can stick to someone and she can do quite a bit of damage if you just let her rack that stuff up on you. So she's got that going on. The enemy team just kind of, at this point, really has no chance because of how fat I am. If I go in there, I attract all the aggro, I get, you know, they're forced to burn their stuff on me, and then even my haphazard Wukong will have some effect when he goes in there. Nothing will really stop his turvy spinny initiation. And of course, the Yasuo has been doing really well with his farm, so he'll just kind of cut them up. Yeah, at this point, my fat ass can go in there and just disrupt the enemy team just with no issue. So me getting the early kills wasn't that much of a problem. Plus, surprisingly, even my Wukong got a few kills, and my Yasuo obviously got some kills, although it's not that much. So the team spread isn't as bad as it could be. Sadly, the Misfortune got nothing, but all she's got to really do it in these team fights is use her ultimate, and we kind of wombo combo win. The enemy team, on the other hand, is like a lot of their kills are focused on Syndra. Their itemization is really odd. I mean, they are itemizing against the Yasuo and that kind of stuff, but I sort of figure they need means to make sure their viable teammates don't die. Like, just focus everything on making sure Twitch can, you know, tear me to shreds or something. But nah, at this point, they're just kind of they've fallen apart, and we're just systematically killing them off. Again, I really liked this game when I was playing it because you can tell that maybe the Maokai, maybe the Wukong, like they were probably the weak links of the game. But in general, the enemy team just kind of got smashed it got smashed and it snowballed from out of control from, well, they didn't snowball out of control completely. They got smashed in intelligent ways, I guess. You know, I focused the Syndra, allowed my Wukong's feeding to become irrelevant, and then we took objectives and we started grouping up in a little fat ball and just sort of slowly rolled the enemy team over. Again, a lot of these fights aren't like complete slaughters. It's just like we fight them off and then we push for an objective and then reset and constantly do that. We're fighting with our cooldowns, which you should kind of sometimes do rather than get a little too cocky and die. So yeah, this is kind of a one game at this point, because everybody on their team that's supposed to be making plays is not in a position to be making plays anymore. Nor are they really kind of working together anymore. They're really tilted. And again, I'm so damn fat, they literally can't do anything about me. It will take so much effort to even try to kill me or control me that I alone would probably kill a few of them. Like, look, here I just kind of go up on the Cho'Gath and, you know, the tower was blasting on me. Cho'Gath kind of bit at me. I didn't really didn't take any damage, and I did quite a bit against the Cho'Gath just by myself. Imagine that. Imagine that being anybody else. That's probably one of Sejuani's biggest strengths, and it's kind of, you know, really strong. Yeah, again, there's not much to say here. It's just the enemy team just collapsed at this point. Twitch AFK'd. They're all fighting in all chat. And it sort of kind of snowballed from Maokai's really bad decisions. And then after those bad decisions, me deciding to starve him out and focus on his only one good teammate, or at least one dominating teammate. And then that's about it. Sometimes all you really gotta do is make sure that one teammate doesn't completely collapse, or you control their, like, I guess, their anchor teammate. But either way, hooray for Sejuani, and that's the metagame you guys wanted. More Zins out later, yay. And remember, if you enjoyed the video, make a comment below in the comment section, and also give the video a like. That helps the channel a lot more than you think.